Hey, hey. Good afternoon, GQ Radio listeners and Go with Grace peeps. My name is Joe, and this is my show, Go with Grace. Welcome to the show. I kind of broke the rules and posted a picture before the show started, so I'll have to do a better job of planning ahead to get some pictures posted for the show. But I posted a picture of my dog Flip. I've told you guys about before. He's a great dog. He's half shepherd, half Belgian Malinois, and so I posted a picture of me balancing a yardstick, a cup, and a spoon on his nose with all the stuff with the broomstick thing going around today. So I want to get on the action because I think my dog's balance act is much more viral worthy. So take a look on the website, on our Facebook page, and see my dog Flip. And that's a lot better picture than seeing a broom standing in your kitchen all alone by itself. Uh, so today, folks, we got a couple of days to celebrate. Today is National Guitar Day. So I'm going to start off and play some music with some good guitar riffs throughout the show. Let's start with Robert Randolph and the Family Band. I played this song before, but it's a great song called The Thrill of It. So we'll play that song and get right back to you.
I'm getting in the car. Go pick up my cousins. Pick up my cousin on the bass. Give me the bass. Got my cousin on the drums. Go pick up cribs. Come on, let's ride. We ride. Some people are looking for the fountain of youth, and others are looking for some kind of truth. Some people like to sit in darkness, and others like to light up the brightest moon. We got to get out to believe tomorrow is never guaranteed. It might hurt just a little bit while I'm trying to figure it out. I'm on this ride for the thrill of it. Living the dream, that's what life's all about. I'm working it out. Some people say I live on the turnpike, and others say, cuz what you feeling like? Some people like to pose like they're hardcore, and others stand around like they're really bored. We got to get out just to see tomorrow is all we'll ever need. It might hurt just a little bit while I'm trying to figure it out. I'm on this ride for the thrill of it. Living the dream, that's what life's all about.
All right, everybody. That was Robert Randolph from the Family Band with the song Thrill of It. The song's all about living the dream and talks about let's ride. So this show is all about the journey of growth. And I've told you before about an invitation to get on the yes train, the possibility train of possibility thinking. So let's get on board and let's ride together on that journey. And ask you, are you guys working it out? Are you guys working your life out? Working out to live your best life and to be the best badass version of yourself possible. That's what this show is all about. So let's figure it out together. Let's live our dreams. On the way into the radio today, I heard about a guy that's 107 years old and still has his driver's license. That was just crazy. I know I've told you guys before about my grandmother who died last year, lived to be 102 years old, and how one of my goals is to live to be 90. I'd like to make it to 100, but obviously you got to make it to 90 first, so I'm going for 90. And before that, I'm going for a 75-year-old dude riding a 75-year-old Harley. So when I heard that, I was like, that's just further encouragement. If you take care of yourself, live a good life, and have good genes like I do, that you can make it to 100. And so it says he drives his red Mercedes around, and I pulled up on the interwebs, and he's got a convertible red Mercedes. So I thought that was pretty cool. He says he's the fastest dancer in the independent living facility where he lives, and he likes to drive fast too. So that's cool. So I guess that's how you live to be 107 years old, having a young at heart mentality. I think the interview that I heard on the radio talked about is he has a fiance at 107. So I don't know what that says. He didn't go into detail, but when they interviewed him, she says she rides in the car, she goes to sleep. I guess he scares the mess out of her. So I thought that was funny. And also, we're going to talk about it later, but I don't want to forget it on today's famous birthdays and today in history and today in the news and the national holidays today. Today they're celebrating Mattress Mac's 69th birthday with some sales at Mattress Mac. And he does a lot for the community, so I want to make sure we highlight him. He's a great community leader in the Houston area. And what else? I didn't get the chance to do a Medal of Honor Minute research this weekend. I get prepped for the show. I literally just got back from my drill weekend a couple hours ago. So I did have to comment on Biden's comment. I think it was yesterday or over the weekend where he was interviewed at a rally, and he told this lady, he says, "You're a lion, dog face, pony soldier." I heard that. I just couldn't stop laughing, but I don't know what in the world he's talking about. I don't know that anybody does either, or if he even knows what he's talking about. But when I hear dog face soldier, I'm reminded of the 3rd Infantry Division out of Fort Stewart, Georgia. We were the engineer unit. I was combat engineer unit. I was deployed to Iraq. We were attached to that active duty unit. And so they have a motto, the dog face soldier. And I'm going to try to do a very bad job, I'm sure, but I'm going to try to sing the song because I couldn't find a good clip of it to show or share. So it said, "I wouldn't give a bean to be a fancy pants Marine. I'd rather be a dog-faced soldier like I am. I wouldn't trade my old ODs for all the Navy's dungarees. For I'm the walking pride of Uncle Sam. On all the posters that I read, it says the Army builds men. So they're tearing me down to build me over again. I'm just a dog-faced soldier with a rifle on my shoulder. And I eat a kraut for breakfast every day. So feed me ammunition. Keep me in the 3rd Division. Your dog-faced soldier, boy." Okay. I think that's actually the World War II version with the kraut part in it. But since I didn't get a chance to pull down something for the Medal of Honor minute today, I will just point out real quick that Audie Murphy was in the 3rd Infantry Division during World War II, one of the most highly decorated soldiers from World War II. And a little blurb about him: it encompassed 2 separate careers. His Army service covered 9 World War II campaigns fought by the 3rd Infantry Division in Tunisia, Sicily, Naples, Anzio, Rome, southern France, the Ardennes, the Rhineland, and Central Europe. And I already knew this, but he was born in Hunt County, Texas, in June 20th, 1925, and died in 1971 in Virginia. And he served from 1942 to 1945 in the U.S. Army. I did know this part. He actually served again in 1950 to 66 in the Texas National Guard. So he received the Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, the Legion of Merit, and a bunch of other awards. So in the American Army, he was a first lieutenant. In the Texas National Guard, he achieved the rank of major. So today we honor Audie Murphy and the 3rd Infantry Division Dog-Faced Soldiers. So whatever Joe Biden was talking about, I have no idea. So a little bit more about my drill weekend. It's a funny story. So I had to do our annual medical records update and our medical um, stuff. So I had to do a couple things. I had to do an EKG, and that came out normal. So I was happy about that, being an over 50 now and still carrying around a little more weight than I'd like to. So I was happy about that my EKG came out normal. And then I had to do a hearing test. And that turned out good too, because I had the same baseline as I had in 2017. So I got that going for me. And I was thinking after the test was over that they don't have a way to test for selective hearing, but I know that most adult men have that ailment of having selective hearing. So I know my wife would definitely agree with that. And then we had to go into an interview with Army doctor to basically look through our chart and see things and ask us some questions to assess our level of readiness for our medical records. And she was looking through a medical record and paused for a second and kind of hemmed and hawed and wasn't sure what to say. She says, "I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm just going to say it." It says, "Your cholesterol sucks." So, and she ended up saying it was okay. She looked in the chart and said, "Well, this is good. This is from your last cholesterol check was from 2015." So she's like, "Well, I'm sure it's better now." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, it sure is." So that was a little bit of story from my drill weekend this weekend. And as we know, we're in February. This is a month of love, the month of Black History Month, and Valentine's Day is this Friday. So don't forget about your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. In other words, don't be that guy. Make sure you do something special. Write a poem, get a card, get some flowers, and make them feel special. My two great loves are the real J-Man, Jesus, and my BFF, my best friend forever, and my love, Michelle, my spouse. She brings a lot of love to the house. I mean, she's simply amazing. She's so hot, she's blazing. And she makes me say, I'm on fire. Let's see. So actually, one of the funny things about the two of us, like, I'm real warm nature. Like, my face is probably red now. I can sense it whenever I get hot, or I'm real warm nature, so I get hot easy. And so when we cuddle, she's like, she can only take a little bit. She's like, "You're burning up. You're making me burn up." So she'll push me away or roll over to the other side of the bed, and it's like she can't take the heat. All right, so take a quick break and play another song in honor of National Guitar Day, and play Kenny Wayne Shepherd's song "Alive."
Tears to a smile, it's a brand new day. Roads take a turn, I think I found my way. Words don't always say what they mean. Whisper a prayer, what will it bring? What will it bring now? And I feel so alive when I'm with you.
right. I don't think I'll be sharing this episode of Go with Grace on my Facebook page this week. I didn't have the mic back on for the last 15 minutes, so you went from one song to a big gap of nothing and another song. So thank you to my friend Evelyn for texting me. I never checked my phone, but luckily I had it out. She said, I don't hear anything. He's like, yeah, because the mic was turned off. So I'll try to repeat what I just said. Well, you heard my mouth moving and nothing coming out. That's how you know a Democrat's not telling the truth. His mouth is moving, but nothing's coming out. Man, I posted on Facebook last week when I shared my show about all the mistakes I made and making failure your friend. So I guess I'm still learning that lesson this week. So nobody's perfect and everybody makes mistakes. So learn from that. So I think what I talked about earlier was we played the Kenny Wayne Shepherd song "Alive," and I played that in honor of my wife. That's one of you have your song with you and your spouse, your best friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You have your song that means the most to you. That song reminds me of her, and so I played that in honor of her for Valentine's Day on Friday. So play that for you, Michelle. I love you, and we also want to take requests. I invite you guys to email me on joe@gqradio.com and play a song that means something. Send me your favorite song you have for you and your special person in your life that means the most, like your one song that defines your relationship, and I'll be happy to play it for you next week or some other time. So I won't be here live next week, but I'm going to record a show for you guys. I'll be in military duty next week, and so I won't be here to do a live show. And so I talked about also some famous birthdays this week and some national holidays. I alluded to at the beginning of the show, today is National Guitar Day, so I'm trying to focus on playing songs with good guitar licks. That's why we started off with Robert Randolph this in the early beginning of the part of the show, and then just now playing Kenny Wayne Shepherd, who's a great guitar player. And the other thing today is National Inventors Day on February 11th, and if you don't understand why today's National Inventor Day, it's also the birthday of Thomas Edison, so I'm sure that's how today became National Inventors Day. He was born in 1847, and he is the American inventor of the light bulb, the phonograph, a motion picture camera, and he was born in Ohio and died in 1931. So there are no strangers in the world. No, that's a different part. That's national. It's also National Friend Day. I'm bombing big time, but hey, I'm embracing it. Hey, you guys have fun out there. Hope you guys enjoy listening and entertained by my messing up. So today is National Inventors Day, and we should all be celebrating because without inventors like Edison, where would we be? We sure wouldn't be communicating through the internet. We wouldn't have radio shows like this. We wouldn't have music that we enjoy that feeds our soul and our spirit and our body by being able to listen to music we enjoy, just like having your favorite song. And humanity's inventiveness is what sets us apart from every other species on the planet. And it's through our inventions that we can see our own progress as a species. We've come a long way since the invention of the wheel, haven't we? And that's worth celebrating. So today we raise a glass and a toast and say Sláinte Va to National Inventors Day. Some other things today in the news is famous birthdays. 1934, Manuel Noriega, the Panamanian general and dictator, was born in Panama City. And in 1936, Burt Reynolds was born, American actor from movies like Deliverance, Evening Shade, Striptease, Cannonball, and he was born in Lansing, Michigan. And I can't believe on the list they don't even have Smoking the Bandit. That's really my favorite Burt Reynolds movie, and Cooper, the stunt show movie. Those are my two favorite movies with Jan Michael Vincent. So a favorite part of there when they're doing that jet car across the bridge filming a movie, and he said, if this doesn't go right, put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye. And of course, Smoking the Bandit's classic with Sheriff Buford T. Justice and all the funny things that he says that I probably can't say on the radio or not going to repeat, but that's one of my favorite shows, favorite movies, more so for the sheriff than even Burt Reynolds, but that's a great movie. So now, let's take a break and listen to another song with some good guitar riffs.
world's a tortured place to be. So many things to torment me. And as I stumble down this road, it takes a toll. These days and nights I turn to you. No human hand can pull me through. No cosmic force or magic brew will ever do. But I can see it coming. You're not so far away. 'Cause I can feel your power surging through the whole of me. God is there and He is watching. He tells me all is well. God is there, there's no denying. Supernatural, supernatural. Beyond this physical terrain, there's an invisible domain where angels battle over souls and vast terrain. But down on earth is where I am. No wings to fly, no place to stand. There on my knees, I am a stranger in His land. I need an intervention, a touch of providence. It goes beyond religion to my very circumstance. God is there, He is watching. He tells me all is well. God is there, there's no denying. Supernatural. God is there, He is watching. The signs are everywhere. Oh, God is there, there's no denying. Days a universe was made. Supernatural. The dead man was raised. Supernatural. They say he walked across the waves. Supernatural. I believe it to my grave. But I can see you coming. You're not so far away. 'Cause I can feel your power surging through the whole me. God is there, He is watching. The signs are everywhere. Oh, God is there, there's no denying. Supernatural. God is
All right, I'm back with you again, and I got the mic on this time. All right, so let's do some jokes. So while I was away this weekend, my wife sent me a video to watch from a church that she found on YouTube called Sandals Church. I don't know the pastor's name, but I'm sure you can just look on YouTube and find it, Sandals Church. And he was talking about the Enneagram. And so this video she shared with me was to describe her as a helper, but I really like the pastor. He's very funny, but very good preaching and breaks down the scripture and the message to how to apply it to your life. But one of the funny things stuck out of my mind was he was talking about how we show love, and the helper shows love by doing things. And sometimes with teenagers, it's hard for them to know that we love them. And so he was talking about experience with having teenagers in the house, and basically said, "Who ever feels like they have a shortage of teenagers in the house. Like, said nobody ever. One teenager is enough if you have a teenager, so you never have an overabundance of teenagers who prays, Lord, can I have some more teenagers in my house? So I just thought it was funny, man. So I'm gonna share some jokes about teenagers. When your children are teenagers, it's important to have a dog so that someone in the house is happy to see you. I like that one. Is there's nothing wrong with teenagers that reasoning with them won't aggravate. See, and there's nothing. Okay, let's see what else is here. Teenagers. Definition: people who express a burning desire to be different by dressing exactly alike. Teenagers. Definition: those old enough to know everything. Let's see what else is here. All right. And then some other just general one-liners I found. I was looking for the teenage jokes. It said, I like this one about skydiving. You don't need a parachute to skydive. You only need a parachute to skydive twice. And I really like this one. The voices in my head may not be real, but sometimes they have some really good ideas. Let's see, what else? So laugh at your problems because everybody else does. Never get into fights with ugly people. They have nothing to lose. And artificial intelligence is no match for natural stupidity. He who smiles in a crisis has found someone to blame. This is good. A diplomat is someone who can tell you to go to hell in such a way that you will look forward to making the trip. And let's see. Okay, that's it for that. All right. Let's take a break and play another song real quick.
choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will. Each of us, a sound of awareness, empathy, and complete. Should not be faced with uncertainties, unfortunate that's what you can choose a ready guide in some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. You can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will.
All right, everybody, that was Rush with song Free Will, not Free Willy. So, a couple more jokes in line with National Guitar Day. Um, what's black and blue and laying in a ditch? The guitarist who told too many drummer jokes. All right, what's up next to see? What do you get? How do you get a guitar player off of your front porch? Pay him for the pizza. Good. All right. I think this one's a good one. The fact that there's a highway to hell but only a staircase to heaven says a lot about anticipated traffic numbers. The two guys were walking down the street. One was destitute. The other was a guitar player, too. And lastly, how do you get two guitar players to play in perfect unison? Shoot one of them. I like that. So, there's some corny guitar jokes. See, what else do I want to share with you today before I wrap up the show? I told you a little bit about this project I've been doing with the mentoring group. I'm part of Movement 21 that Tuan Nguyen and April Holly started. So that's going along well. We're about halfway through. The other first 30 days is into it. And our first 30 days was to write a chapter for a book called Dominate the Decade. So I talked about that when the show started last year about dominating 2020 and the new decade we're in. So the book is a lot about that. And my chapter in the book, along with about 11 or 12 other authors, is Grace for Your Own Race. I don't want to go in a whole lot of detail again because I want you to buy the book. But as we get farther along, and the next thing is for us to develop my signature talk. And so I break down in the book how there's grace for your own race, and each one of the letters for grace stands for something I'll get into later. And but the idea is to encourage you to live your own life, to be authentic. And so for me, the G is genuine, because authenticity is what it's all about. Go into detail about what it means to be authentic and be genuine, to be yourself, and to embrace who you are. So I pray that as I share more about that, it will be an encouragement to you, and you'll get a chance to hear more about it. And I'll release it on my Facebook page and social media and my LinkedIn and stuff like that. Share that with you guys when the time comes. So we're waiting for the book to come back from the editor in about 2 more weeks. I'm excited to see how things are going to turn out, what suggestions I can do to make it better, what needs to be edited. But I tell you, I got really excited about the writing process, because one of the biggest things I struggle with is procrastination. I talk about that in the book, and dealing with anger and frustration, and how I have a tool to help myself defeat that procrastination and to be a person of peace and not a person of anger. And so I'm going to share more about that in the coming days. And so, but the writing process for me, um, I don't remember if I shared this with you last week, but it's kind of ironic that my biggest struggle is procrastination, and I knew the assignment when I signed up for it and paid my money to be part of this group called Dominate the Decade and write this book, knowing that it would lead to me becoming a published author. In this book as just writing my first chapter. And of course, what did I do? I procrastinated getting my chapter written. I waited till the very last week it was due and started on a Tuesday to get it done by Friday. But having said all that, the process of writing really invigorated me. And I think, in addition to being called to be an Army chaplain, which I know I'm called to be, and I've shared with you guys before, and I know that that's what I was created to do, but I can't always be an Army chaplain. It's a young man's game, and the older you get, the harder it is. And eventually, at some point, I'm going to have to retire from being an Army chaplain. As much as I'm not looking forward to that time, and I'm going to miss it, miss the soldiers most importantly, and how God works through me to touch people's lives and bringing God to soldiers and soldiers to God. And but this writing process really invigorated me. It gave me all kind of creative juices flowing. I incorporated one of the acronyms of GRACE. Part of it, I talk about charting a course and tell a little story about my dad and his sea experiences. So I just feel like that's what we're developing new skills. I don't really see myself as an entertainer. I see myself as being myself a funny person, and that's why I tell the corny jokes and try to tell you stories from my life that are entertaining and funny. But definitely don't see myself as an entertainer. I see myself more as a writer. So, and as I was writing my chapter, I just felt this sense of purpose come about. And even though I've just written one chapter, I know I'm going to get a lot better, and this is just getting my toes in the water of the writing process, but I'm excited about it. I'll be excited to share my chapter with you and tell you more about it and release it to you guys to have an opportunity to purchase it and learn from it and apply the lessons that I teach in there. Um, so that's going to be my first chapter I've written, and hopefully, or not hopefully, I'm definitely going to be writing another book before the end of 2020 and have it probably hopefully published in 2021. I think this next book will be about my deployment to Iraq in 2007 and 8. But as I was these ideas starting in my head on, I guess it was Friday night, Saturday night, woke up in the middle of the night with all these ideas running and the creative juices flowing, and thought of another idea for another book about my dad's sea stories and writing life lessons from those. So look forward to that down the road. And let's see what we got. So just want to encourage you guys to keep listening to the radio show, and I hope that you are blessed by the radio show. I'm here to be a blessing to you, to encourage you to live your highest calling and to know that you have a divine purpose in your life, to discover what it is and to walk in it more fully. I want to encourage you, like I said in my Facebook post from my show last week, to make failure your friend, because anytime you try to accomplish something new or step out of your comfort zone, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail. But to me, having failures and having some setbacks, it means you're trying something. It's easy to sit back on the couch and be a couch camper and not accomplish anything and just look back and be a observer of life instead of being a participant of life. We were created to be in a relationship with other people and be in a relationship with God. So I hope that this show encourages you to be a part of that. Um, so for the rest of this week, I want to challenge you and encourage you to be about prayer. One of my men's Bible studies I go to, my friend of mine was sharing a story about the effectiveness of prayer, and it said that I'm trying to remember what it said, but they did a survey of like people from the age 8 to age 80, and from if they prayed one time a week to all the way up to 4 times a week, they compared the effectiveness of having a prayer life and being in God's Word and having a consistent prayer life. And they basically said from just doing it one time a day, one time a week to 4 times a week, from one time a week, 2 times a week to 3 times was it was incremental change, almost no difference in effect in a person's life. But it was that change from doing it 3 days a week to 4 times a week was monumental. It was exponential change by being able to have that consistency the majority of your week spending time in prayer. So I want to challenge you to be about daily prayer and to continue to listen here to Go with Grace so that can be a part of your life and encourage you on your life journey and be a blessing to you. So have a blessed week. I look forward to hearing from you. So email me your comments, feedback, your favorite song that means something to you and your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, and I'm happy to play it on the radio for you. And have a great week. Enjoy your Valentine's Day on Friday. And God bless you guys. I'll be seeing you guys later.